morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I need to get back up.
I know we had a little bit of a problem with the Zoom link this morning, so I'm sure people are just going to be a few minutes late once they check their email.
It's never a dull moment with technology, that's for sure.
And ironically, we have a tech presentation today.
Well, you know,
It's a good segue.
ironically, that this is exactly what we were talking about in our
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Tech tips that we have problems with. Oh.
So I did it on purpose. It was just for a good opening.
So the first one just didn't work?
Yeah, it just disappeared on me. I don't know
Oh,
where
wow.
it went. Couldn't log into it, so.
Okay, I'll keep track of my email just in case anybody emails in. Oh.
Be right back.
Good morning. We're just waiting a few minutes. We had an issue with the Zoom link, so we're just waiting a couple of minutes to let everybody else get logged in. Hopefully they'll look at their emails. Well, they'll have to look at their emails when they're logging in. So
Yeah, that's the hope. We are going to be doing a little bit of networking this morning. Our lovely co-chairs have a topic that we could discuss a little bit, so that I'll let them talk about that.
yeah, should we go ahead, Marie, I guess?
Sure.
Well, good morning. I'm Linda Fury from Junior Achievement. I'm one of the co-chairs, and you're to my right.
Italian, and I'm from Stony Brook, and I co-chair with Linda. Thank you for coming today.
So we thought what we would do is we're waiting for people to arrive if you want to introduce yourself, just kind of tell who you work for, quick description of your job, and then if you want to just share a favorite new book you've read or a TV show, Netflix show, or any show, doesn't have to be Netflix show.
Michael, do you want to start?
The TV show is holding me up. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, I
That's
can go
okay.
first. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
For anyone who
yes.
doesn't know me,
Go ahead.
I'm Marie McCallion from Stony Brook, and I work in the College of Business and do the marketing, communications, and community relations. And my husband and I have been pretty addicted to anything on Apple Plus. So Ted Lasso, he went through all 3 seasons of the Ewan McGregor motorcycle documentary. So long way up, long way around, long way down. I can't even remember. I felt like it was on for like 3 months in my house, but it was really interesting. So,
Wow.
and then they have another show called Little America, which is like these little half-an-hour clips of, they reenact a true story of an immigrant who just has an interesting story. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'll go because I'm very excited. We just ordered what we need for Apple TV. Apple Plus. We have Apple
Plus.
TV. We didn't have Apple Plus because all I hear is Ted Lasso, Ted Lasso, Ted Lasso. So I guess my favorite has to be Schitt's Creek because you just really needed that in this time of trial. We did just finish watching Your Honor.
I only watched 1 episode.
Oh, yeah. So we finished Your Honor. I mean, it was good. It's good, but I really liked Schitt's Creek. And I work for Junior Achievement, and we work with students K through 12, teaching them about financial literacy, work and career readiness, and entrepreneurship. So now, since we can't go into the classroom, we are having our corporate volunteers beam in and teach some of our curriculum virtually. So that's kind of my update.
Now I'm ready. Actually,
Okay.
Chris, you can go, Chris.
Hey, Mike, how you been?
What's up, buddy? You can go first.
So what am I watching? I'm actually in the middle of watching the so John Adams documentary on HBO they did a few years ago, and I just found it fascinating. Been binge watching it for I'm up to his presidency now, but it was pretty interesting. So definitely an interesting guy.
It's the age of binge watching. My kids can't watch a show that's weekly.
Yeah. Oh no, it's
They don't have the
painful.
patience for that. They have to watch everything all at once
We're
and
watching
then move on to a new show.
we're watching WandaVision with my son, and it's like we have to like wait. We hate because we wait until like the day it comes out. We got to come and watch it as soon as it comes out. And he's like, "This is terrible."
Oh gosh.
My name's Michael Tedisco. Obviously, the TV show is first. So I have a 10-year-old daughter, and we're trying to figure out an appropriate show, which we can't find one nowadays. But we actually went back old school, and we're rewatching Glee.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So she's 10 years old, and we're trying to find something that she could watch. So Glee made the list. So we're rewatching Glee. We just watched like the first 2 episodes. I didn't realize how long ago it was. I feel kind of old now. And then, I think everything you guys mentioned, Cobra Kai I watched. Then we watched, of course, I'm watching Schitt's Creek again as well. But just so you guys know about myself. So a few years back, I started a consulting company for the focus of workforce development. Big proponent of a thing called the Registered Apprenticeship Program. So I help businesses become sponsors of registered apprenticeship programs. I also go to vocational schools, high schools, community groups, and I educate the youth and letting them know there's an alternative opportunity not to go to college. You could still be successful in a career path by an alternate route as known as the apprenticeship program. And then I connect people that want to become apprentices with companies that have apprenticeship programs, hence the name of my company, Apprenticeship Connections. So thank you very much for today. I'm happy to hear Chris speak. Chris is a very good speaker. And,
I just have one quick question. So with your apprenticeship program,
mhm.
is that, do students come to that while they're in high school? Do they come during the school day, or do they come
apprenticeships are full-time jobs, so you have to be 18 or older. So
Okay.
you could take pre-apprenticeship classes during high school, which are obviously like in BOCES is a perfect example. BOCES curriculum literally helps you walk into an apprenticeship with at least 1 or 2 years already in your back pocket, which is a huge selling point to the employer. But it's absolutely great.
Okay, great.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Thank you, Linda.
All right. Samantha, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and if you have a favorite book or TV show right now?
My favorite TV show right now, probably I watch a lot of reality TV, so it'd probably be Below Deck. And I'm from LI Tech Advisors. So that's
Okay.
probably what I've been into lately.
Excellent. I've never heard of that Below Deck. I'll have to look
Oh,
that
you
up.
have to
Oh, you
watch it.
kidding
It's
me?
so
Yeah.
good. It's filled with drama.
The one reality show I actually like.
You do? I'm so
I'll have to
glad.
look at it then.
All right. Daria, would you like to share? We're just saying where we're from and just a TV show or a book, something you like. If you're there.
Maybe she stepped away.
Hey, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Hi, good morning. So I hopped on because I actually saw the link pop up on my LinkedIn through TechWorks, which I follow, have a few folks over there that I know
Oh, excellent.
that are really great folks in the community, and we work together. So that's why I'm here. I hopped on, didn't expect you to call me out, but I'm
Well,
a
welcome.
big TV watcher in terms of, I know Below Deck though. I'll tell you why. My husband watches it. He likes it. It is a little hilarious. I would agree. But I'm not a really big TV watcher. I like a good cop mystery every now and again. Other than that, I read a lot of books I'm working on a lot of things having to do with mindfulness and mindset. So, and I think right now that sort of resonates. I have I work with a lot of women that I like to support in doing that. So we're actually going live tonight to talk a little bit more about it. So thanks for asking, and thanks for letting me jump on. Appreciate
Excellent.
it.
Is there any book you recommend that is at the top of your list of mindfulness?
A book that I recommend. So another fun fact about me. I enjoy reading really shorter version type content. So I've been doing some online courses that have video and print attached. I honestly, a lot off LinkedIn.
Okay.
But there's a lot of good content. People don't realize another good app to use is Pinterest. There's a lot of good content on Pinterest. So, I mean, I have a lot of sales books at home. I pick and choose different books that but I'm not a real big reader. I prefer a shorter content that I can pull things from and implement right away in my life and share that with others so they can do the same.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you for joining. Well, I guess, Chris, we'll go ahead and get started. We had 22 people register, so hopefully there will trickle in soon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, hopefully the what do you call it, didn't turn them off, the link being.
The link.
Yeah.
Their
Well,
loss, by the way, it's their loss, Chris.
Yeah. Listen, you guys get the best. You get to answer questions.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here.
Yes.
So, no problem. We're going to talk. Listen, so it's pretty much open forum then. I'll go over. I started a slide. We had a little conversation. We were going to talk about like Zoom and stuff like that. But, I felt everybody's kind of zoomed out a little bit. So we said, well, maybe we can do some of the things, some of the apps and software and stuff that I like to use and why I like to use them. And so let me start my slideshow and then take control over here. So basically, I said, well, why not? Let me show off some of the stuff that I do on a daily basis, some of the apps that I use, a few of my favorite things, I called it. So this is just to get an idea, of some of the reasoning why and some of the stuff that's out there that, maybe you guys could use in your daily lives as far as applications go and why I use them. So, and I'll explain to some of the cool features and I'll even show them some of them live. So it's pretty neat. So let's get started. Obviously, Chris Coluccio, CEO, TechWorks Consulting. That's all my information. We'll send you the slide deck. And Sue Gooving's coming in. So, all right. So obviously this about me, we don't need to know. I've been doing this for a long time and I own TechWorks. So once again, we've been around. We started our business in 2000 and it's actually 2002. So that slide is wrong, which was my mistake. For 15 years of this business, I said we started in the wrong year. So so I was talking about, so what are some apps that I use on a daily basis and why I use them? And I'll go into and kind of show you what they do. So I broke it down into apps for different reasons: security, privacy, fun, things like that. So these are some of the apps that I use that I recommend that you guys should maybe look at and kind of why we look at them. And I'm going to pull my screen back and forth between like web browsers and stuff like that so you can see. But one of the apps I use all the time is called Surfshark. And it's kind of very popular right now in the industry to talk about something called a VPN, which is a virtual private network. The virtual private network, what it really does is creates a tunnel virtually, I guess, through the ones and zeros of the internet, between you and the data that you're getting or the place that you're going. So there's VPNs work at a couple different levels, this virtual private network. You can have the simplest way to think about it is like if you created a wire that went directly from your house to your office and it was only your wire and you could use it. Well, through the methods of encryption, you can basically allow I think there's another person coming in. Okay. So through the methods of encryption, you can make this kind of virtual wire between your house and your business. And that's what creates this virtual private tunnel. And what that allows you to do is create kind of like an area where the bad actors on the outside, or even the government or other people, might not necessarily be able to see what's going across the internet while you're surfing or while you're doing it, while you're doing your daily business. And that's good for security reasons, so that people don't hack into you, and also for some privacy reasons. So I'll show you a little bit of what Surfshark is. It's one of the more popular ones, and this is an app that so this is an app here. I just maximize it, but I won't go too big. That allows me to pick a server, and even in different countries. So one of the cool things that I do is, like, if I go to the Dominican, they don't let you surf for Netflix. They don't let you play Netflix in the Dominican. I go to the Dominican usually once a year, and I can say that I'm actually coming from a different country, so that they don't know that. So this is a virtual private network. But what it does is it actually changes the address that I'm coming out of. So instead of coming out of my house, it can actually come out of a server in Canada. And the reasons for that really are a few reasons. A, it's to encrypt that data, and B, it's for tracking purposes and privacy issues and security. So if you're worried about those kind of things, this is a personal VPN app that you can use on your computer or on your phone, and it will encrypt that data and make it look like you're coming out of different servers. Now, this is also what the bad guys use a lot. They use tools like this, and they do this thing up here called multi-hop, where they hop from server to server to server, so that people can't figure out where they're coming from in order to hack into your systems. They use things like this. This is one of those kind of tools that they would use. It's a free tool to start, but you can pay for some extra features for it. But it's a really great tool. You'll hear a lot more about VPNing, especially if you're one of those people who like to steal movies and stuff like that, because that's one of the reasons a lot of people use it, is because it protects you from people finding out that you're stealing copyrighted material, which I don't particularly adhere to, but that's fine if you do. All right, so that's Surfshark. There's lots of VPNs out there. There's ones from Norton. There's ones from all sorts of different companies. Those are personal VPNs, which I said is a little bit different than a business VPN that we talked about, that I talked about a little earlier, which might be a connection from your computer to your office, or a computer or an office-to-office scenario, which a lot of people are doing. So that's that. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask. I'll answer more. Oh, so Ghostery.
Chris, I have a quick question now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do all of these work on a Mac?
Most of them do. Surfshark definitely does. Yeah, almost everyone that I have here are both Mac and PC. Some of them are actually dedicated to like an Android device or something, but only one or two of them. Most of them work across almost all the platforms. So let me pull up my other. So we're going to pull up an app called Ghostery here. So what's Ghostery, right? So I'll show you here. This app Ghostery, basically, that I use inside of my computer. Basically, what this does, you don't see anything here right now because I have to let me pick another site. Let's just go to something that I know is going to track me, right? So what Ghostery does here is block all of those advertising cookies and tracking and trackers. So you'll see something like CNN, any of the Fox News's, CNN's things. These are all of the tracking cookies. You see it counting up to 20, 21 as it's going along. It's actually all of the things that they use to track you throughout their sites that they share with other sites. I mean, that's a lot for a site like for this. So what this does is it blocks all of those tracking cookies, so that the advertisers don't necessarily pop up in some cases, and that they're not tracking you in between those sites. That's when you see, like, you went to Amazon and then all of a sudden you went on another site and you had the same ad, you said the thing you were just searching is on there. Well, that's a lot of what it is. And you can see, if you go into this detailed view, these are all of the trackers that it blocked along the ways. And you can, so I use a lot of those, a lot of this to basically just stop all of the advertising that I get from that kind of stuff. And, you can turn on anti-tracking, you can turn it off, you can block sites, but I like this, from a knowledge standpoint, just to see what people are doing. Why are they tracking all of this stuff that we don't even know is going on a regular basis, but also to kind of like, I generally don't want, although I like some of the ideas of, getting that personalized data, I don't want everything in my world to be only the things that these people want me to see. And what happens when you go to these sites, and I'll show you this with one of the other sites too, is that now you're only getting the things that they want you to see on the site. So even as you join into a website that you think is just, it might be standard. When I log in, and because they have all of these cookies, I see different news, I see different information, I see different stuff than when somebody else logs in. And that's kind of, I guess it's okay if that's what you like, but I like to kind of keep my world open. And so this is one of those tools that do this, and it's another free tool. There's other things that it does, but it's very basic. It just blocks cookies, and it tells you how fast the page is loading and that kind of stuff. But it's a neat little program, and I run it all the time. And nowadays, even some of the places will tell you, well, you have an ad blocker on. Do you want, that's how we make money. So they do make money through, these ads and the information they send back to the advertisers. So that's Ghostery. Let me pull this back over. All right, so we're going to go into Web of Trust, right? So Web of Trust is another one that I keep on my machine. And what Web of Trust is, we'll go back over here. So Web of Trust is another app that you can add into your browser. And what that does is it actually tells you whether or not that site that you're visiting is trustful or not. So it does it like even by accident. So if you click on a phishing link, maybe when you go out to click it, this is going to report on that site and say, hey, this might not be a great site. Sometimes if it gets down to like the 1 or 2s, it'll pop up and say, hey, do you want to go to this site? Because this might not be what you think it is. And, it's not always right, but a lot of times it is. It uses crowdsourcing and algorithms and other stuff to figure out, what sites are the best, and people rate those sites. But as far as the trustworthiness of a site, whether it's trying to steal your information or it's actually a phishing trial, this is a great things. And then obviously you can see there's trackers. This does also tracking, but not as good as Ghostery. So I don't use the tracking protection on this site because it's not as good as the Ghostery one. But I do like that. And you can go directly to their website and type in any site that you like, and it'll give you what the quality of that site is. So it's another one that I really, really like. I use it all the time. So, all right, so let's pull back over. So those are some security apps that I like to use. Let me go over to, and once again, any questions, feel free.
Yeah, so would you recommend that we have those on our home computers? Because I know a lot of us, our work computers are already set up by the IT department, but these are things that you would recommend.
Well, yeah, and some of these things like extensions and stuff like that, most of the things like apps inside browsers and stuff like that, usually the work computers don't block that stuff. So most people would still be allowed to put a lot of these things like Surfshark. You might not be allowed to do on a business PC, but the Ghostery and the Web of Trust, most places don't block that stuff for add-ons to browsers and things like that. So this can be used for both. Especially if you run your own business, this is the kind of stuff you might want to put on your machines.
And we had one question on just the cost of the apps.
So let me go back. I'll tell you. So Surfshark is another one you can get for free, but it costs for the year, I think it's about $60 if you want the full version. If you want to do multi-hopping and stuff like that, I do pay for the full version. Web of Trust and Ghostery are free. They have additional security options in them if you want to buy the additional security options, but I don't on these two. I just use them at the free versions of it. So I do pay for Surfshark, but I don't pay for the other two. So yeah, I mean, those are basically apps that you can just keep on your computer, and they don't do. Most of the apps here have a free option that I may or may not pay for because I think it's useful. So apps for productivity that I put out there now, RoboForm, and this is although RoboForm is the one that I use, this is a series of apps that I would recommend. There's other ones called LastPass, there's Dashlane, there's some other ones that are out there, but these are password management software. So let me show you kind of what I mean by this. Let me pull out. So if you see up here, this is an app, and if I wanted to log in, so I'm gonna have to put my password in to get in for the first time. I can type my password correctly. So someone like me who has logins to just about everything that's out there, these are all my logins. So if I wanted to log into any one of my sites, let's say like my Hulu site or any one of those, this keeps them secure, you know, so that I can get into those sites pretty easily, and it'll save them for me. So let's say here's another website I use called All Sides, right? So it's I can then just click on that. It'll bring me over. It'll automatically log me into that site. I don't know if that was a good one to show you because it probably doesn't, I don't know if it has a login or not on this one. So, but what that does is a couple things. So it actually allows you to generate passwords that are so you know how we all basically use the same password over and over and over again on multiple websites? Well, that's kind of how they steal our data, right? That's one of the big ways that they do it. They get into a site that has that they compromise, and it has your information, and it has that password that you've been using for the last 10 years. So because it does that, they can, because you've used that password over and over on multiple sites, they will then attempt to use that same account information on another site and another site and another site to see if they can compromise you. And that's how they get into our banks and all those kind of stuff. And a lot of that's been changing with two-factor authentication a little bit, but that's kind of how they steal your password. So what apps like RoboForm do is they generate random passwords for you. And they put them in as you sign into the site. So every site has a different password, but RoboForms controls that. So all you need to do is go over to, you know, whichever site you want to log into, and, you know, pick a site. I don't know, I'll go to Samsung, for example, and it'll automatically have that password in there. And then you can actually look into the thing and see what password it is, look into the software and see what password it is. But I'm trying to show you a good one that will log in, but anyhow, so when you log into your cart and stuff, it'll automatically fill that password information out for you, and it'll save all of those passwords. Now, this is an app that works in your browser. It also works on your desktop. So there's a desktop version of it that also works on your mobile devices. So you can basically link all of those together. So no matter where you are, you have access to. If you're like me, I have thousands of passwords for that. Probably, I mean, I'm not, well, I have hundreds at least, lots of, probably 300 or 400 passwords that I have to remember for clients and for other stuff. And I can keep it all in one place. And I can also filling out forms online, it'll do that too. So great apps that I really recommend. LastPass is another one that starts out free. RoboForms is a pay-for app. I think it costs, I want to say it's like $80 for the year for the version that I use, but I use it constantly. It's definitely worth it. There are some cheaper versions. But I would recommend that anybody use one of these password repositories. This is much better than saving them in spreadsheets or you know, typing them somewhere. These softwares are much more secure. They have master passwords and two-factor. So, all right. So let me. All right. So we're gonna go over to AnyDesk. So what's AnyDesk? AnyDesk is, if you're familiar with things like TeamViewer and Log Me In and those kind of stuff, well, AnyDesk is another free application for logging into your for logging into your computers remotely. So if you have a computer at your house that you want to get into, or you want to help your parents out with a computer, like I use this for my father all the time. It's a free piece of software. You can put it out there. There's a paid version for business, but it is one of the best, fastest remote desktop softwares that I've ever used. And it's really great. I use it all the time. It has a lot of cool security features if you set it up. It allows, it's very, all of the other ones that I found are very hard to use. This one sets up, maybe I can pull it, let's see if I can pull up the app and show it to you on my desktop too, because I'm running it, but access to basically any machine that you have, and do it relatively securely. And you can actually do it from your mobile device. So a lot of times my father, who's 85 years old, calls me up and says, hey, I'm having a problem with my computer. I can just click on my phone, get into his computer and help him out. And it works, and you can transfer files and stuff like that too. So it's a great free app. If you're looking for most desktop, I like it. I think it's much better than TeamViewer. So that's another one. Mighty Text is another one that I use constantly, but the thing about Mighty Text is it's only for people that use Android phones. But what this allows you to do, what Mighty Text allows you to do, is send and receive text messages from your desktop. So I'll pull this over if I can. Everything's running slow. So if you see over here, I can send and receive text messages. I can do a new text message to anybody. I can send one to my wife and just say hi. Just like I'm texting it from my phone, I can just say and send her a text message from here, and I can send and receive without ever having to pick up my phone, which is nice. There's some ability to do this on Apple. There's some other ways to do this through Microsoft. I just found that this is the best app that I've found for it. This is also an app that's free that I pay for, but you get up to like 500 messages a month, which most people are fine with. It doesn't work for me because I get a lot of alerts from servers and stuff like that that also come through text messages. But this is another great app for sending and receiving data. It syncs up your photos and videos. You can actually use it to call your phone. It will sync up with your phone too, so you can like turn off alerts and stuff on your phone, but mostly it's for texting. And I love to be able to send and receive my texts without having to pick up a phone. It's great for that. Okay, I know I say a lot. Let's move over to my next slide. So I had some apps that I use for fun all the time. So ReadAloud is another one, a free app that I use. It's built into the Microsoft Store. It also has a Chrome plugin. But what ReadAloud allows you to do is pretty much read anything that's on your screen. So if you're the type of person like me, like you don't want to, like I don't want to, sometimes I'm reading a book or I'm reading something online and it's getting blurry or whatever. I use this app called ReadAloud to I actually use it sometimes with the Kindle app on my phone. So you see I have the Kindle app here. I have this other app on my phone called ReadAloud, which some reason is not showing all of a sudden, but it was there before. I don't know why it's not there, but anyway, sorry, I apologize for that. It was there a few minutes ago. I'll have to put it back in. But what ReadAloud does is allow me to click on that website, or if there's a PDF document or something like that, I can actually have it read with somebody speaking so basically they're speaking the text while I'm reading. Let me see if I can give you an example of it too. So I just had it. Yeah. I'll pull this over and show you. So if you so like if I went to my website over here, which is TechWorks' website, I can just click here. I don't know if you guys are going to hear it or not, but
He's gone. I guess it didn't work.
Let's see. I'm sure he'll be back any second.
Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to realize you're gone.
Might still be talking.
I want to ask him on his next app that has Room Arranger that I need a new deck. I want to see if he's got one that I can do to design a new deck. Well, Andrea's on. She's with, works with Chris.
He got kicked off when he went to go hit that recording, but he's coming right back in.
Okay.
Because I heard the recording happen from his office because I sit right outside of his office, but I couldn't hear it speak. But he's coming back in.
It's too funny.
And we will let him back in.
There he is.
You know, on Chris's behalf, I do have to say I use their company for my home computer. That if I ever had any problems with it or anything, they've been really very good about helping me fix things and whatever. So he does have a service where you don't have to be a big company, but you can buy a year subscription for help when you have problems. So that was helpful.
That's good to know. Chris,
that
we're
is
just
good to
getting a
know.
plug about your company for, you're on mute.
Oh,
There we go.
it's my first day with this tech stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sue. Sue's always nice to us, so appreciate it.
Owe me a cup of coffee.
Anytime.
Okay.
So ReadAloud, great app if you're this is good, like, you know, like I said, if you're having a hard time reading large documents on a web page. For me, I like the concept of both hearing and reading at the same time. I think it sticks more with me. So I use like Audible and I use Libby, which are these, you know, be able to read audiobooks for you. But I like that seeing both at the same time. I think it's just really nice. So I'll read my Kindle books sometimes on my computer like that, where it'll read the Kindle, because the Kindle app on my computer, it'll read the book and it'll speak it out loud at the same time. I can follow it. You can adjust how fast it goes and even put it in, like I have an Australian accent when I read my books online. So another one that I like is an app for fun that I use is one called Room Arranger. Room Arranger is an app that allows you to basically make like really quick versions of houses or layouts of your buildings. It's a free app that you can get. If it's like, I think if you want to buy the full version, it's like $10. It's really cheap. But I use it all the time. I'll show you some kind of good examples. It also does 3D layouts of rooms. So for a free cheap app, I used it to design my kitchen and my bathroom. I'll pull over something really cool so you can kind of see. Although this is one of the sample ones because I just had to reinstall my computer yesterday. But you can take a room like this and then you can go in.
You have to share your screen. We're
Yeah.
not on your screen.
I did that again, huh?
Can I use this for a deck? I need a new deck.
Yes, you can. It actually has the decks and stuff.
Excellent. Thank you.
So yeah, you can. So you see can you see my screen now?
No.
No.
Does it sharing? Come on.
Yes.
Yes. Now we can see it.
So I'm going to show you Room Arranger. Oh, let me show you a better one. So this is one of the ones that they did as a sample. It's really simple. They have all of the tools. I mean, it's not going to be exact, but it lets you get an idea for layouts of the floors. It's really easy to use to do a room and that kind of stuff. But it also creates these really cool 3D layouts. So hold on, let me pull that over here. So you can actually do like these walkthroughs of your house. You can, you know, move forward and backwards, which is neat because I did set up my living room and my kitchen like this so I can walk through my house, and anytime I change textures and stuff. For a cheap free app, it's pretty amazing what you can get. And you can download more textures. There's a group of people online that like to use this. So pretty neat. You can also, so it shows you the whole room arranged in 3D. just a neat little app for something I use all the time when we're doing quick layouts. Even for customers, I've used it. All right, so Glasswire. Glasswire, I'll see if I can show this one to you. I put it for fun, but it actually has a kind of, it's actually a security app also. But what Glasswire is an app that shows you all of these, all of the stuff that's actually going out to the internet and how much of your information they're sending out and back, which ones are using the most and when they're using them. So it's a neat app because most people are just going to look at it and say, great, who's, why, maybe this software is using too much of my internet. Maybe it's got really, like you see the Zoom meeting obviously is using it, but it even tells you where the Zoom stuff is going. So it is from a security standpoint also. Sometimes, like I did notice that I installed like a free app one time and it started like just sending data out to China. And I was like, oh, it's probably not a great thing. Once again, normally I would have tons of historical information, but I redid my machine last night. So it's all new stuff, but it actually gives you alerts and tells you, okay, well, this is the first time this software went out to the internet. So it's a neat software. It's got some really cool things. It's another one that's free. But it's interesting to see why some of these softwares, like I found the software that I use for my headset for speaking on the phone. I put that piece of software in there, and that was one that used more data than almost all my other softwares combined. And I was like, I'm going to get rid of that software. There's no reason for the headset software to be using all my internet, speeds and stuff like that. So I use Glasswire. And we do use this sometimes on our clients to be able to really take a look at what might be killing a computer. So that's one of the other ways you can use it is you can say, hey, why is my internet so slow? Maybe it's one of these pieces of software that's doing it. So that's a nice little another free piece of software that I use all the time. So let's go over, and I did a couple bonus ones that I like to use too. So bonus apps that I use that I added in at the end was one called Everything Search. And Everything Search, basically, if you think that it's hard to find your documents on your computer, then Everything Search is the one that I use because it's another free app, really easy to use, but it searches your computer much faster than the Microsoft search and finds stuff a lot easier, and it's got a pretty low overhead. I find that the Microsoft searching is almost, it's horrible at best. If you're searching your computer with Microsoft. I don't know if they have a Mac version of that one. All the other ones I talked about have Mac versions. I don't know if Everything has a Mac version, but it is a great little app. Most of the guys here that are technicians and stuff use it. And the other one that I love is DuckDuckGo because this is an alternative to Google. And DuckDuckGo is a couple things. Mostly it's a search engine like Google.com is. But it doesn't track you as you search stuff, and it doesn't alter the information that you get. It's got very little advertising built into it, so there's only a couple ads in there. And what happens with Google, which we found is, and it's kind of weird, is like if you search certain things, you'll get certain content. If I search certain things, I'll get certain content. DuckDuckGo does away with that and says we're all going to get the same information if we search for the same keywords and terms. And I find that to be, I think it's just a better way to do it. I don't want everything to be filtered into my own little ecosystem or bubble because Google does it. And like I said, it doesn't do all of the tracking that Google does either. DuckDuckGo also has, so this is available on Mac PC as just, something you can add as your default search instead of Google. But you can also add DuckDuckGo to your cell phones and your tablets, that kind of stuff too. I almost exclusively search through this. I very rarely use Google anymore. The only time I ever actually still use Google for searching is I find that some of their image searching is a little bit better than DuckDuckGo. So if I'm really looking for a good image, I might use Google for that. But other than that, DuckDuckGo is kind of all I use. So that's it. I gave you a few of my favorite apps, some of the things I use every day, that are out of the ordinary. Obviously, the Microsoft and the Teams and those kind of things. I can talk about all that stuff if you like, but other than that, I figured I'd show you some stuff you probably might not have seen before.
I have
Absolutely, that was helpful. I took a picture of every slide, so I would have those. Just one question I have is, in using these, one of the challenges, because I think this is great, you did show us things that we don't normally hear about, but as far as like, are there any tips that I need to know when I'm trying to go into maybe a school or a business that has a firewall? Is there any way that I can determine that they will let me get in there? Or
So
is that
the VPN software, the Surfshark software, actually is pretty good at bypassing firewalls. So if they let you on the internet, right? What the VPN software like Surfshark will do is actually make it difficult for their router to figure out what you're doing. So when you create that tunnel, they think it's coming, they don't know what the traffic is. So you can actually go in and use Surfshark. You know, a lot of the kids in schools do this already, and you don't even know they do it because they're not tracking for it. So they'll use a thing like a software like Surfshark or something else to bypass the content filters that are there, because most of the content filters can't scan inside encrypted traffic. That's the whole point of encrypted traffic. So that's a good one to try out, is to try a VPN software and see if, you know, we do this for our clients too, because there are ways to stop that from happening, but most of them don't understand that it's even going on. That's a good one for that. If you know, if a school's doing their job, I would say correctly, and they were doing it well, then they don't want, if they don't want you to get on, then you're not going to get on. You know, I mean, that's just what we do. So, I mean, what are the challenges that you have when you get to these schools?
Well, one of the ones we use is we're trying to work with some of the school IT departments to let for the students to have access to one of our programs.
Okay.
So we work with the IT, and then they will sometimes make.
Yeah, so they'll whitelist it for you.
Yeah.
And that's the preferred method of doing it. Like I said, there's a good chance that you could use a tool like this, but you know,
oh yeah, we wouldn't want to do that, because
they probably wouldn't be happy if you found out that you were doing it.
Oh yeah.
You know, although you know, it does happen more often than you think. So
Well, yeah, but if we messed up their system, that would.
You wouldn't mess up their system doing it. Well, unless if you were doing it on your own computer, right? So if they let you bring in your own computer and you were working on the internet or a guest account, then you could do that. They wouldn't let you install. I mean, if I was their IT person, I wouldn't let you install anything on the machines ever without me knowing it, you know? So that's just the way I'm kind of like, you know, that's how problems start, right? So
Right.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
All right, to Linda and Chris. Linda, you just said you were able to catch the screen, take a video shot, right? How do you do that in a Zoom format? I know how to do it if we weren't in Zoom.
I'm going to show you another one of my favorite tools, just as a side note, that is built into almost all of Microsoft's products. So in case you ever want to do this in the future, and I don't know how Linda did it, but I'll let her. So there's a tool here called it's either the Snipping Tool or Snip and Sketch, right? And it's built into Microsoft. And if you click on this, and this is a free tool built into Microsoft. So if you click on that, right, I can then highlight any part of my screen, and you'll see it will take that snapshot of that, and then I can draw on it if I want. I can copy, paste it, email it out, share it with people, save it, print it, all that kind of stuff. I use that tool almost every day.
You know, well, first, Sue, I took a picture with my phone, but Chris, can you show that snipping tool again? Because when someone showed that to me, it is amazing. And then you can take things, put it in your PowerPoint, you can take a picture and put it in your email. Yeah. Can you just show people where to find it?
So, yeah, let me, so if you go to your start menu here and you just type in snip, it'll come over here. So you'll see it says Snip and Sketch or Snipping Tool. The Snipping Tool is the older version, which I kind of like a little bit better because it's a little lighter, but they're getting rid of that one. So I'll use the Snip and Sketch for now. Well, then what I do is I pin it to my taskbar. So you'll see that now down in my taskbar, here's the Snipping Tool. I just click on that. And then you can do things like you can snip in 10 seconds, you can snip in 3, you can snip now. So if you click on snip now, then you can highlight anything, and it'll snip that. And then you can save it, you can zoom in it, you can just copy it, which will copy it to your clipboard. So most of the times I'll just copy it to my clipboard and paste it into whatever I'm doing, presentation or whatever. So yeah, so if I wanted to add that into this presentation now, I would just go here and click paste, and it would put it in there.
Okay, does Snip also, is it able to record the sound? Sometimes many times with Zoom meetings like the HIA, they're recording it right now. And I always go, if I really want to listen to the show again, I usually email them and say, hey, could you send me the recording? I don't know if everybody is allowed to do that or not, but there are times when I'm watching a recording from some other place and I would love to be able to listen to it again.
So there are tools that will record your entire screen. That's not one of them. There is one that's built into Microsoft as part of the Xbox tool set. But it's a little difficult to use. Hold on a second. It's I think it's called the Xbox gaming bar. Once again, if you type start, it'll do the same thing. So it was built for gamers, and yeah, so you'll see it. It's here. So you can actually. All I did was, let me just escape out so you guys can see it. All I did was go here and type Xbox. So there's Xbox game bar. Is the tool that will do that on the machine, and you can just hit start recording and it will record your screen, and you can set up what you want to record and that kind of stuff. So it'll record the whole thing, record the last 30 seconds, capture a specific game. You can change the settings on this. There's actually there's a lot more to this setting. There's even another one that's a little more complicated, but if you wanted to just start recording, you could just start recording. Well, that might not be the right version of it, but yes, I could find out the actual right version of it. I don't know if this is the right one. I think this is the older one because I just installed my computer. The newer one will capture the whole screen, but it's an Xbox feature built into Microsoft. There are other ones like Captera, I think is another one, or Captiva that you can get through. So I'll show you another one of my favorite websites that you guys could look up. So this is one called Alternative To, right? And what Alternative To does is it actually, for whatever application you're using, it gives you a list of all the alternate applications. So I think there's one called Captiva. I'm trying to remember it. Hang on a second, you can just go screen record. So I typed in screen recorder, and these are all the softwares and it tells you basically, here's a software, 110 people like this screen recording software. And then if you click on that one, it'll show you all the other ones that work with that. So Alternative To, anytime you have an application, you're looking for an alternate version of it, maybe something. Oh, this is the one that I'm using. I even forgot that I was using this one because it's on my older machine, but I use OBS Studio for capturing, recording the screen and stuff too. That one will record your also. Camtasia was the one I used to use, but they made it a pay-for version. It's not free anymore. So you see here, this software is great because like here's OBS Studio, a little more complicated. Simple screen recorder, maybe a little bit simpler. And it tells you like, what it works for, Mac, Windows, Linux, that kind of stuff. So I love Alternative To, one of my favorite sites. I use it all the time.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other like tools like the snippet tool, which someone at work showed me how to use, that you would recommend, like if we're trying to make a PowerPoint or something that's interesting that you might know that we don't
So,
know?
there is and I don't have I'll get the link from Jim, especially with PowerPoints. Jim from my office, he has a website that he uses that sells PowerPoint animation slides and stuff like that. And you buy them for like 30 cents. And he does these really cool animations that you can add in So that's one for PowerPoint that I know he uses all the time. And you go online and they're like 30 cents, 50 cents, and you buy a slide from them that has these really cool animations and make your websites look, your PowerPoints look really cool. I'll see if I can find that link. I'll chat him and see if I can find the link for you.
Okay.
To that. That's one that's really, really great. So there's lots of little tools inside of Microsoft that we don't know about. I could probably spend all day doing things, ways to do split screens and all that kind. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. If you want to just do all the tools that are built in, there's, Microsoft's 3D viewer is one. I'm just trying to look at some other ones that I know that are people use all the time.
Well, I know that Canva is also a good way to use it and to make nice PowerPoints, but I think there's a fee for Canva.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, generally with the PowerPoints, I don't do a ton of them. So, mine are obviously look like this one where they're kind of just static and not the prettiest in the world, but Jim in my office does tons of them. And I know he buys them from this place and they pays him a couple bucks, but you use them over and over again.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So if you have that, we can share that with everybody.
I'm going to chat him right now and see if he has if he can give it to me. So.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Or any other tips if anyone has any,
sure.
Things that they like to use. Like I had a student show me years ago, something called PDF to JPEG. And it easily allows me to change a PDF into a JPEG instantly. I use that all the time for the website.
Yeah, I think I actually have one of those up here. So one of the things to understand, especially with Google, is there's a ton of these little apps up here. So this is one I use all the time, right? If I want to take this website and email it to somebody, it's called Share Link. And I just click on it and it'll pick up, hold on a second. I don't know which screen it's going to pop up on, but it'll pop up with, so yeah, I'll show you. It pops up over here. So anytime you want to share a link, basically it just automatically puts it into your web browser. It gives you this, and you can just send that link out to anybody. So I use that one all the time. That's a great one. So inside, there's all of these little apps that you can get. This is a converter that I use. It converts any documents from PDF to JPEG, JPEG to PDF. So you can use that converting software. Wait.
So that's an important one, at least to me. So converter, because one of the things is, we send stuff to schools and then they can't open it up. So that's just converter on Microsoft?
No, this is a plugin to the Chrome browser.
Right. Okay.
There are plugins through the Microsoft Store also for doing word conversion. There's also I use Foxit, and Foxit has a converter for that too. So you can do those kind of convert to JPEGs and convert to PDFs and stuff like that.
So I just go into the Chrome browser and then I can Google.
Yeah, converter. It's under add-ins. So more tools. I think I know you can just so you can just go Chrome add-ons. You can do that there. I thought that there was a way to click directly into it.
This is there's so much to know. It's just.
Yeah. So in the Chrome Web Store, that's where you can go and get all those add-ins and extensions. Okay. So if you go into their web store, then that's where you can. Hold on. Somehow I wound up with the help section instead of the.
Is it free? I wonder.
Yeah, almost all the stuff is free. Some of the stuff is paid for because they have extensions that might be part of Microsoft Office. So you can do things like you can hook your Zoom into Zoom schedule. I mean, that's probably one of the most powerful things, is especially if you use Chrome a lot. Mozilla has it too, which I do. That they have these add-ins, and you can search for just about anything, right? And you say convert to PDF, right?
Do you know if it makes it, one of the things with our schools, and for the most part, we Junior Achievement have made, where we can send a form to a school and it's a fillable PDF. So the teacher can use it as like homework and things. But
so usually it's not going to do, none of those things are going to do that on the fly. The way that usually you do that is because you have one of the more advanced readers, the PDF readers. So, and it's not a reader anymore. It's obviously, you know, Acrobat Professional, or I use Foxit Pro. I think the Foxit one is the better one. And it's also much less expensive. And there also, I believe, is an education version, which gets it down to like $20 or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
So that being said, like I said, I think Foxit is the better application, at least for the money. And that's how you once you do that, you can go in there and set up those forms. You know, there's a lot of new things coming out though, where people are just doing those forms online. So if you use Microsoft Office 365, they have the forms thing, and you can just set up a form and they can just fill it out online. And then once they fill it out, you can import it into the PDF. So, but if you're doing a lot of those fillable PDFs and you want to create them, you need one of the professional apps. So, I'm trying to think of what other ones I use here all the time. Shodan is another one you probably wouldn't care about, because that really just shows you where the websites are coming from. Grammarly is a great one if you're like me and you can't spell. It spell checks all of when you're typing online and stuff like that. It's a free account, but you can pay for it too. Resize Split Screen. This is an actual pretty cool app. If you have a bunch of tabs open and you want to see them like all together, that one just puts all those tabs so that you can, you know, you can separate the tabs out. You can kind of make it dual screen or whatever if you only have one monitor. So
okay, can you say that one more time?
So I'll show you. I'll show you that one again. So what it does is you have all these. You see these tabs that. Sorry, this is in my way. So you see these tabs that I have open. Let's say I had. I'm going to close some of these tabs for a second, just so you can see a little easier. So let's just say there's only 4 open. Right, so you have 4 tabs open like this. This piece of software allows you to do things like just split those into 2 tabs, so you can read 2 window screens exactly the same size at the same time. So like it's kind of like mimics having dual monitors in some cases. You know, like or you know, nowadays the reason people use this is nowadays it's getting popular to have one really big monitor. And this can mimic that dual screen aspect for you. Microsoft can do that also. That's one of the cool things you can do. If you take a screen and you drag it over to the side of Microsoft, it will automatically make it half the size of your screen. And if you pick another screen, let's just say this one, so Microsoft automatically makes this into a perfect split screen just because I dragged it over to the corner or to the side of the so you have it here, you drag it over here, it makes a perfect half a screen. It's a neat little trick.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I use that one. I used to use, if you have a single monitor, I use that one a lot, because then you can kind of pretend like you have that dual monitor. And it's, I personally like the dual monitors because I like the separation between the two. But if you have one really big screen, that helps out a lot.
So to do that, do you need to have 2 screens already open, or do you just drag it to the
side?
No,
what it will do, so what you saw it do there is if one of the screens is not already in the half screen mode, then it will pick, it'll ask you which one you want to open, or it'll ask you to open another one. So like you see, these are all the other windows I have open. I can pick any of them and make that the other half.
Excellent. All right. Does
Linda?
anybody have any other questions for Chris? This has been very helpful for me personally.
Linda, I think you should open every meeting with one new skill. All right. So what people coming on, that if there's somebody that's in the group that could maybe demonstrate one new app, right? I think certainly a lot of people would also be making sure they get online, because like my head is like just busting right now. I can't figure out what I've seen. So I'd like to learn one a month.
Yeah, and
So-
I think Margaret had a good idea too, just to cover presentation skills. We could do a whole meeting on that. You know,
Oh,
just different tips and tricks to
Yeah,
presentations.
yeah, that would be a great one. Yeah, you know, making a really good PowerPoint presentation or.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, because the tips, I will say that Snippet Tool made a huge difference in being able to take like a picture of our marketing material where you just want to take a little section out of it and put it in an email or put it in a PowerPoint. That
And
made
there's more powerful versions of that too. Another one
Right.
that's called Snagit, which is a pay for one, that does screen record. Those are, and it like, you can do all sorts of things with it. Go directly into an editing software and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. Well, I do want to say, I do want to apologize because I really didn't introduce Chris at first.
Most people here, I think almost everybody here knows me. So
Yeah. But we really appreciate you giving us some of these tips. I think it's great. And I like what you did, that these are a lot of things we're not really familiar with. It's not the same stuff that we, normally usually know. So we really appreciate it. And as Sue said, also, Chris does work for companies, but he also does for residential as well, which is important in this day of hacking.
Mhm.
But all right, does anybody have anything else?
I'm just going to go through quick. I want to invite you guys to some
yes,
of our
yes.
upcoming events. So let me, Chris. All right. So just some updates on our end. On February 26th, we're having a new and prospective member information meeting. So it's a great way to, if you know anyone who you think might be a great member for us, or if you want to learn how to get more involved, that's definitely a great meeting to come to, get to know any of the team. I think everyone here knows us pretty well, but if you know anyone looking to join, that's a great one to send them to. They'll get a really in-depth version of what the HIA is all about. And then also later that afternoon on February 26th, we're having our Trivia Friday. So we had our first one already and it was a lot of fun. So we're having it again. It's going to be Walt Disney themed. So all you Disney lovers, come on out. And then on March 18th, we're going to be doing our Economic Summit. So surveying the future of Long Island business. We have a really robust panel and we're going to be discussing the survey and opinion poll that Robert Corte's company, PKF O'Connor Davies, has done, and that's going to cover the real estate market, revenue, prices, and profits, headcount and salary adjustments, and the local and national confidence rating. So it's a really great program to know what's going on Long Island. And then we're also introducing the HIA Marketplace. So this is going to be a one-of-a-kind business platform, and you're going to be able to connect, communicate, collaborate. You'll be able to get great exposure for your company, and you'll be able to list products, services, and that's something we're going to be rolling out within the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Or if you want any more information on how to sign up for it or what it's all about, you could contact either Paige Meyer or Anthony Forgione. And that's what I have. So if anyone wants to register, you can head on over to our website. Always feel free to email me at amiller@HIA-LI.org. And that's what I have. So thank you all for joining us today.
Absolutely. Our next meeting is going to be March 17th, and we don't have it totally planned out yet. So we will let you know as soon as we know who our next speaker is going to be. But we will be having some more of the programming like we had last time with Stony Brook. We're going to try to do 3 more this year. So we will let you know as soon as those are confirmed. Anything else, Marie? Did I forget?
Just that we're planning for a joint meeting with the HR committee in May. So the date's gonna change a little bit in May. And that will be, I think, the second Tuesday. I think
Thursday.
that's the Thursday, sorry, May 13th. And then
Yes.
one of the things we have planned for March is a speaker from Old Westbury. Thank you, Louise, for suggesting him. It's going to be a good and interesting topic. If you want to say anything more about it now, I don't have my notes in front of me on that one. I know he's an accountant, but that's all I can remember right now. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. We have a very interesting program. It's the Justice for Victims Fraud Project. And basically, we have an accounting forensic master's program, and led by faculty and students, they help small businesses who have been victims of fraud. And it's all a voluntary effort, and it's really a great endeavor. And our professor, David Gladstein, is going to speak about that.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the end of the week. I think it's supposed to snow again tomorrow. So, but spring every day, spring is one day closer.
Yeah, we're getting closer to March.
So, all right. Well, thank you. And Chris, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for putting it together, and we really appreciate it. And
Thank you for
That
having
was
me.
like I
great,
said,
Chris. Thank
I
you
didn't
so
do it
much.
the fancy way. I just took pictures of your slides with my phone, so I know what the apps are I want to use.
Snipping Tool's great. It's my favorite.
Okay.
All right. Have a great
care,
day,
guys.
everyone.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.